I'm sorry for serving you something that didn't taste right. I promise I won't make it again. No matter what I prepared, it always seemed to be met with criticism. I reached my breaking point and decided it was time to divorce and leave the house. Then something unexpected happened with my husband and our eldest son. When a woman gets married, she often loses her first name. My name is Emma, but at work and in the neighborhood, I'm known as Mrs. Taylor. Even at the daycare and school, that's how they address me. I'd be fine if my husband called me by my first name, but he only ever says, "Hey." From the start of our marriage and even now, at 50, I've always called him Gordon, but it seems he's never picked up on the hint. Gordon, who is 3 years older than me and works for a transportation company, used to deliver goods to the deli where I worked. His friendly demeanor led to a close relationship, and although our meeting was quite romantic, married life hasn't been the fairy tale I'd hoped for. Gordon, using work as an excuse, never helped with household chores. Despite the fact that I'm a full-time worker at the deli, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. We had our eldest son, Mark, but Gordon rarely helped with his upbringing. Men get praised for simple acts with their children, while women juggle work and household duties without much recognition. Isn't it oppressive how society expects mothers to naturally handle everything? Mark was a good kid until high school, but after he started working, he became increasingly sarcastic, especially over the past 2 years. He's been coming home late and ignoring me, but strangely, he and Gordon get along very well and even mock me together. "Mark, what kind of job are you doing now?" "I work for an ID company." "There are many types of ID companies, right? You wouldn't get it anyway," he replies with a smirk, clearly annoyed by having to explain. Maybe, at 25, Mark doesn't feel like detailing his job to me. Sometimes, I get so angry with him that it scares me. Am I lacking maternal instincts? There's a concept of unconditional love. When Mark was a baby, I felt a deep, intense love for him. Seeing his cute sleeping face made me feel I could do anything for him. But now, with the sarcastic man he has become, my unconditional love feels like it's fading. I find myself expecting something in return for the love I give, both from Gordon and Mark. After 26 years of marriage, I can say I've been happy only about 2 years ago. Gordon and Mark started teaming up to criticize my cooking. I don't think my skills suddenly worsened, and I don't remember cutting corners. I always consider nutritional balance, budget, and their favorite dishes. Planning meals is hard enough without having my efforts criticized. Tonight, I made Gordon's favorite Chinese stir-fry. I hoped he'd be pleased, but he shouted, "What is this? Is it not good? It's too salty. You said it was too bland yesterday." Gordon pointed at me accusingly. "Can't you find a middle ground? It's always one extreme or the other with you." Yet, he continued to eat, exaggerating, "So salty." Mark just ate in silence. How about you, Mark? I often go to fancy restaurants in Akasaka and Ginza with my boss, so I've become a bit of a gourmet. Everything tastes good to me now. I worry about the woman who might marry someone as sarcastic as me, even if he's my own son. As Gordon continued to complain about the saltiness, he finished his meal, followed by Mark. Feeling stressed, I decided to have a meal with my best friend Juliet on my day off. Juliet, who is also 50, went through a divorce 2 years ago. Her ex never lifted a finger around the house but had the audacity to point out a dirty window or some dust. Juliet told me she lost her temper and hit him with a hanger. Talk about guts. When I mentioned Gordon and Mark, Juliet got angry as if it were her own situation. "Why don't you just tell him to cook for himself and hit him with a frying pan?" "I can't say that. If I did, he'd just get stubborn and insist on cooking. He'd probably realize how hot cooking is if he tried it himself. I wouldn't dare eat anything Gordon cooked." Juliet laughed heartily. "But for me, it's a real concern. Since becoming single, I've become quite popular at work. It's your life. You're living just for your husband and kids. You're only 50. Emma, don't give up because of age. Life begins at 50. I get asked out for dinner by male colleagues often now, probably because I'm single." Juliet looked radiant. Her confidence and positivity were inspiring. Is the ideal mother and wife someone who puts her kids first, her husband second, and herself last? Society's norms aren't always correct. Before being a mother or a wife, you're an individual. Life is more enjoyable when you live for yourself. I was taken aback. "You're intense." "Don't call me intense. I'm just normal." Dinner time is always tense for me. In most households, It's a time for family bonding and happiness. Tonight, I made Mark's favorite curry rice, but after one bite, Gordon shouted, "What the heck is this? It's way too sweet. Who makes sweet curry?" Trying to keep my disappointment in check, I asked Mark, "Is it too sweet?" "I prefer spicy or medium spicy, but more importantly, I know this amazing curry place. It's not fair to compare a home cook to a Michelin star chef. I don't cook just to hear Gordon's harsh words and Mark's sarcastic comments without considering my feelings." Gordon sighed. "Oh, my mom's curry rice was the best. Just like home." I wanted to tell him to have his mother cook for him every day, but I held back, afraid it would only make things worse. At work, while I was helping a customer, my manager, Mr. Smith, gave me a compliment. "Mrs. Taylor, your customer service is always so cheerful and genuine. It's really impressive." "Thank you so much," I replied. A kind word can make all the difference. Positive feedback can lift your spirits and make the effort feel worthwhile. In retail, good customer service is essential. When prices are the same, customers will always prefer to return to a place where they're treated well. Mr. Smith is 54, single, and still appears open to the idea of marriage. At 6 feet tall, he's quite the gentleman and a hit among the younger female staff. Being single at his age doesn't diminish his charm. Perhaps he has high standards or remains haunted by a past romance. His air of mystery only adds to his appeal. Despite being 50, Mr. Smith treats me with the same kindness he shows to the younger women, which I appreciate. I can't help but wonder about Gordon and Mark's behavior at work. If Mark is as sarcastic with his colleagues as he is at home, he's likely not very popular. And I worry about Gordon, whether he bullies subordinates or harasses female colleagues. I just hope he never gets into serious trouble. During the usual tense dinner time, Gordon and Mark were engrossed in a TV show featuring family restaurant staff presenting their best dishes, judged by top chefs. Gordon suddenly said, "Don't you ever think of going on this show?" "Why would I? I'd probably fail," I answered. "They'd likely say, 'Are you trying to poison us?' and toss you off the show," he joked. "Should we order pizza tonight?" I suggested, trying to change the subject. "Pizza? I'm in the mood for hamburger steak. Let's get takeout from the family restaurant." Gordon's tone shifted when he heard my suggestion. "What's with the attitude? Even I have my limits." Mark joined in, laughing. "I'll sing 'I Want You Back' in full chorus." I wasn't amused. "What? I want you back? Do you even know anything about what's going on?" "They can have their fun." I felt isolated and lonely. Juliet's face came to mind, and the thought of divorce crossed my mind again. Later that evening, Mr. Smith called me over. "Emma." "Huh? Oh, sorry, Mrs. Taylor," I said with a smile. "If you want to call me that, it's fine," he replied. "Oh, really?" I said, momentarily caught up in a dreamy thought as a love song seemed to play in my mind. I quickly pushed the thought aside. Life isn't that simple. Things rarely go as planned. There are several young, attractive women in their 20s at work. I'm probably not even on Mr. Smith's radar. As expected, Mr. Smith wanted to talk about work, not dinner. Actually, there's talk of our store making a TV appearance. It's a show where family restaurants and delis showcase their signature dishes, and a chef judges them. I know your husband and son are fans of the show. This time, the theme is lunch combos, and we're having an internal tasting session to select our representative. We'd like you, Emma, to represent us. I was taken aback and immediately declined. My husband and son criticize my cooking every day. Mr. Smith thought for a moment. Do they leave food on their plates? No, they always finish it. I have a friend who's never satisfied, no matter how good the restaurant. Maybe Gordon and Mark are like that. We need someone who cooks daily. Would you consider creating a menu for us? Though the responsibility was daunting and my confidence low, I felt a strong desire to prove myself. I wanted feedback from someone other than Gordon and Mark. I took the challenge seriously and prepared a lunch combo. The company's top executives tasted it and unanimously approved it, while my colleagues were thrilled. I felt a mix of shock and resentment towards Gordon and Mark. Despite their constant criticism, everyone else loved my dish. I couldn't understand why they belittled my cooking. Was it just for sport? Furious, I left work early and went to the city office, keeping my selection for the TV show a secret from Gordon and Mark. That night, I made shrimp scampi. On the table, there were 2 cards labeled pass and fail. After tasting the shrimp, Gordon and Mark exchanged glances and both raised the fail card. Clearly, it was a miss. I was disappointed. Were they pretending to be judges? Was it fun to mock me? I grabbed the cards and confronted them. You fail as a husband. What are you trying to do? You fail as a son too. I'm done with your constant negativity. I placed the divorce papers on the table. I'm filing for divorce. Wait, Gordon protested. I've waited 25 years. I can't wait any longer. 25 years, well, maybe not that long, but I've been patient for the past few years. I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving this house. Gordon, in shock, tried to laugh it off. It's some sort of camera prank, right? Where's the camera? Mark asked, pretending to search. Dad, she seems serious, Mark warned him. Really, I am, I said. Congratulations, you won't have to eat bad food anymore, I added. A whirlwind of change followed. I moved out quickly and started living on my own. Juliet's support was invaluable. Without the burden of my ungrateful husband and indifferent son, I could focus on my job. Sometimes, significant changes can shift many things. The company asked me to appear on TV. No way, I can't do TV. You should get someone younger and prettier. That's how TV works. While part of me wanted to do it, I worried about how I'd look on screen. The show would involve the chief judge asking detailed questions about the dish. If it's not the person who made it, they won't be able to answer. I understand, Mr. Smith said. However, convinced by the executives, I agreed to the TV appearance. I didn't inform Gordon and Mark. I blocked their calls and had no intention of contacting them. Of course, I told Juliet about the TV appearance. She was shocked and said, I want to be on it too. With teary eyes, I appeared on TV with Mr. Smith. It was my first time, and my heart raced with nervousness. Watching the stern-faced chef taste my lunch combo, I felt as though I should apologize before the judgment. This bolognese has Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, and instant coffee, I thought nervously. When judgment time came, I held my breath as the judges unanimously raised the pass card. They even praised the dish as delicious and perfect. I high-fived Mr. Smith, my cheeks flushed with happiness. I hoped it wasn't just a dream. After the successful TV appearance, I became involved in product development and received a raise. Was it sheer luck that things improved after leaving behind a rude husband and a sarcastic son? 3 months post-divorce, Mark visited the store, looking like a football player with his new bulk. What happened to you? I asked in surprise. I've been eating out a lot since I haven't been eating at home. It seems I've bulked up without realizing it. Serves him right. It's probably karma for mocking food that a top chef praised. I saw you on TV. Dad was shouting in disbelief. Mark said. I'm glad you saw it, but please, don't come back. I replied coldly. You're 25, handle your own life. If you don't want to be with Dad, then be independent. Don't come here again. Mark, clearly shocked by my firmness, left. The next day, while placing an umbrella stand outside the store, a large man approached. Emma, who are you? Don't play dumb, I said, recognizing Gordon, who had gained a significant amount of weight. Because of you, I've been eating and drinking at pubs every day. Before I knew it, I could barely move. You have no right to call me that anymore, I said firmly. Gordon tried to laugh it off. Emma, please come back. At this rate, Mark and I will turn into Crusher Blackwell. Crusher Blackwell, you don't know who he is? He was a 215-kilo wrestler. His joke seemed to show no remorse. I don't want to waste my time talking to you. Please leave. Despite my harsh words, Gordon persisted. I apologize for everything, truly. Even as he apologized, I remained silent. Your cooking was always amazing. My mother told me never to praise someone too much. If you keep saying something's delicious, they won't improve. Wait, where are you going? Before Gordon could finish his apology, I retreated into the store. To my surprise, he followed me in. Wait, we were in the middle of a conversation. I have nothing more to say. If you keep pushing, I'll call the police. The police? Gordon glanced around dramatically. Why involve the police in a marital issue? We're not married anymore. Just give me one more chance, he begged. Suddenly, Mr. Smith emerged from the back room. I've already called the police. Maybe you should leave. Who are you? Gordon asked, looking confused. I'm the manager here. Why are you interfering in a marital dispute? Mr. Smith asked. Gordon, with his usual exaggerated gestures, pointed at Mr. Smith and me. I get it now. Is that why you divorced? Are you two together? Enough. His rude insinuation made me furious. What nonsense are you talking about? I won't tolerate it. Is it true? Is that why you're so upset? Gordon pressed. Just then, a police car pulled up, and two solid officers walked in. That's him, one officer said, pointing at Gordon. What's going on? Gordon resisted as one officer tried to restrain him. Let me go, she's my wife, Gordon protested. I don't know this man, I said, feeling overwhelmed. So you're denying him now? The officer said. We'll sort this out at the station. The other officer assisted in restraining Gordon, who, surprisingly, had the strength of a wrestler. Enraged and jealous, Gordon's face twisted into a menacing scowl as he grabbed one of the store's umbrellas. I was taken aback, but Mr. Smith bravely stepped in front of me, arms outstretched, as if trying to shield me. Are you showing your true colors? Gordon shouted, raising the umbrella to strike an officer from behind. The officer swiftly knocked it away and seized Gordon's wrist. You're under arrest for obstructing official duties. Obstructing official duties? Gordon exclaimed, clearly shocked. You think that excuses everything? Just come with us. Emma, help. Gordon's desperate cries echoed as the crowd gathered. I felt my cheeks flush with embarrassment as the commotion drew everyone's attention. Gordon was pushed into the police car, and I watched in silence. How embarrassing, I muttered. Are you okay? Mr. Smith asked, concern evident in his voice. I'm fine, thank you. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask, he offered kindly. Thank you, you're very kind. I'm not kind to everyone, Mr. Smith replied with a cryptic smile before leaving. Maybe it wasn't a misunderstanding after all. Since that day, neither Gordon nor Mark visited the store. After 26 years of marriage, I finally had peace. I enjoyed lunch dates with Juliet and relished dinners alone, never feeling lonely. Work was fulfilling, and being appreciated by the company was a boost. One day, Mr. Smith approached me with a slightly nervous smile. Emma, do you like music? Musicals? I do, I replied. I have 2 tickets. While movies are easy to catch anytime, plays have specific dates. I noticed Mr. Smith was sweating a little, stirring up memories of my youth and making my heart race. Maybe this isn't a misunderstanding after all. I love musicals. I'd love to go, I said. Great, I was planning to go with a friend, Mr. Smith said, revealing his joke. What? I asked, surprised. Just kidding, how about dinner afterward? Mr. Smith suggested, relieved. Seeing his genuine smile, I returned it warmly. Life is unpredictable, and now, I'm embracing a new chapter of possibilities.